everyone, and welcome to Gray's Westminster livestream, where every Friday you join me, Con. My name is Consin.
I'm Daniel.
Yes, so Danny's our sales manager. He's joining us today. We continue this thing we should call Meet Grace, where you meet everyone who works at Gray's Westminster, because some of you think that Becky and Con basically is what Gray's Westminster is. It's not. Is Danny in here?
I'm one of the Daniels.
That's right.
Daniel number one.
Daniel number one. There's Daniel number two as well. So who you're going to meet eventually as well.
That's right.
My name is Con. This is Grace Westminster channel. We're talking Nikon every Friday. So thanks everyone in the chat for joining us today. If you're watching us live and you're not in the chat yet, then definitely jump in there. There's bunch of good people who know their Nikon stuff in there. So you can ask any questions, not just chat, but us as well. Put QQQ right in front of the question. We're going to put some coffee in our mugs to tell you that Coffee Fund is open as well. Now, before we start asking you also serious questions, so don't ask him technical questions. He's a salesperson. He's all in sales. He's going to tell us how he sells Nikon cameras to people. Give us all your sales techniques, but later on. But for now, just to remind you that Nikon's Black Friday promotion is going on already. So there's something like 570 pounds of Nikon Z8 camera. There's like 450 cameras of Z6 III. What else is there?
Z8 is probably the cheapest it's ever been, so definitely jump on that, guys, if you've ever wanted one. I got planners, 100s to 400s, 180 to 600 is really cheap right now as well.
Nice.
So definitely go for it.
We've got weight lenses as well, right?
We do. Oh, gosh.
40 mil?
40 mil 1.2s, flying off the shelf, guys. You have to be quick. Don't waste time.
He's a sales manager. He knows his stuff. Anyway, so yeah, give us the stream, like and subscribe, the usual stuff. But I'm just going to go through the chat real quick. I'm going to say hello to everyone. Hello, Rick. Hello, John, Ian, David, all the higher anglers, Simon Ma, Adrian Cochrane, Joe Vlogs, David Ramsam, Terry Allen, Jakob, Jay Blue. Jay, thank you for sending me your Night Photography Challenge contender. So we have this monthly photography challenge where we ask you to go out and take some photographs of the topic that we decide. So for this month, it's a night photography challenge. What is night photography? It could be night landscape, cityscapes, anything taken with flash at night, even indoors. So photography in the dark, really, more than anything, light painting, you name it. What we're going to have is Danny is going to join me in about a couple of weeks. If you like him, of course. If you don't like him, let me know. I'll just...
Thumbs up or down, guys.
That's it.
Let's go.
No more. But he's going to join me in a couple of weeks where we're going to show the best of your work. So what you need to do is get out, take some photographs, or send me some of your recent photographs, not taken, let's say, 20 years ago, you know, but send it to either media@gracewestminster.co.uk. It's in the description under this video, or send it to info@gracewestminster, and then they'll pass it on to me, and we'll select the best works. We're going to show it to you on this live stream. We're going to discuss all that, and we're going to give you a photography challenge for December as well. So on this note, we're going to say hello to Ron, Nick, Richard, Juan Jose Gonzalez Cruz. He's got your last name.
Are we related?
Do you have such a long name as well?
I do.
How many middle names do you have?
2.
Is it like the son
Daniel, so Daniel Belomo Nunes Cruz. Part of it is my mom, is my dad's, of course. But yeah, Daniel Cruz is a lot simpler. How do you spell his Cruz?
Well, I think he's of the, let's say, Spanish heritage. It's Juan Jose Gonzalez Cruz.
Hola.
Hola, ¿qué pasa? So, Per, Colin, Caris, Dave, Michael, fantastic, William is here. Brilliant, thank you, everyone. You have any questions, we're going to talk about this. But I'm going to ask you first, how did you start with your photography? Why did you choose photography?
Oh, God. I guess growing up, I've always been a creative child. I like drawing. I like movies, just creating things. What I really got into was cinema, and I wanted to be a director of photography. And everyone said, if you want to be a good DOP, learn photography. You want to be a good DOP, learn photography. And then I got my first camera and then fell in love with it. That simple.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Live stream, being a sales manager. You could be a footballer, though, you know.
Oh, man, that was the second. I know. The kids, when I moved there, they were so disappointed at my footballing skills, but, you know,
that's
what it is.
That's okay. How did you join Gray's?
God, so I was a customer long before joining. I got my first Nikon actually from Gray's Westminster. Got an F4, not this one exactly, but it looks exactly like this.
This is a replica of this one. This one I made of papier-mâché myself.
Is that right?
Spent the whole weekend, basically, yeah.
And guess who sold me my first Nikon? Yours truly.
That guy, I have no idea. I have no idea that I sold you the camera.
That's right. I remember it very vividly.
Was I a good salesperson?
You're great. I feel like I was a bad customer though, because I came maybe 20 minutes before closing, so it wasn't ideal, but you know, you served me very well.
Yeah. Did you leave like around midnight? You came in at 5:30 and left around midnight.
Took my time.
We had a drink. We put some whiskeys.
A great grace service, you know, as always.
And I sold him a memory card with his Nikon F4, you know, as we do. A good 64 gigabyte memory card goes a long way with cameras such as Nikon F4.
That's right.
Like, okay, so you tell me, so you actually a film photographer.
Yeah, I don't own a digital right now. I do like digital photography as well, but right now only film.
Why? I mean, it's a very serious question. I mean, people in the chat just puzzled. Why are you shooting film exclusively right now?
When I did have a digital, I always tended to edit my photos to look like film photos. So I said, why not just, you know, do the real thing and shoot film full time?
There's some, like we've started with the serious questions here. I think it's something that everyone needs to hear. You can't make your images look like film images. You got to shoot the real thing.
You know, if you're really good at editing, you can get away with it, I guess. But I wasn't that great at editing, and it never quite, you know, felt that satisfying. But now that I'm shooting film only, my images look exactly how I want them to look.
So what's your favorite camera?
Oh, favorite camera, 35mm.
Well, give me like your top three, any format.
Okay, let's start with mirrorless. Z8 is fantastic. Don't own one yet, but maybe sometime soon.
Okay.
35mm film camera. It's got to be the F4. It's just perfect. It just does everything I want. It's built like a tank.
Okay.
Feels great in the hand. It just looks amazing.
I mean, there's big love in the chat for Nikon F4.
Oh, yeah? Good taste.
You know, I'm always saying that F4 is a kind of product of the 80s. It's like a good boombox that you put in and it blasts in some, you know, some East Coast or West Coast hip hop, you know. But
it does look very 80s indeed.
But it is, I understand what you're trying to say. Is it's just the grip is really nice. I wish it would have like both dials, the front and back wheel, like they introduced on F100, let's say.
That's right. That's right.
But overall, the feel is very nice. What's your medium format poison of choice?
Oh, so I own a Mamiya RB67, which I haven't used a whole lot. I do love the images it can produce. But yeah, I just need to get out there and shoot more. It's just such a heavy camera that I don't always have it in my bag.
Yeah, it's almost like you need an assistant for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I definitely have to tripod, but I mean, I've got RZ, which is a kind of a smaller cousin of Mamiya RB. And it is a better camera than RB, but it's got electronics inside, which means that if one day it just decides to go into another world, then your RB is still functioning because it's fully mechanical. It's still serviceable. It's built like a tank. It's probably a size of a tank. I mean, you know, the only camera that is bigger than that, I think, is one of the Fuji cameras. One of those. But overall, it's a massive camera. But what kind of photography do you do?
Well, I love shooting portraiture. I like shooting people, basically. I do like documentary, you know, street photography and things like that, landscape. But my bread and butter is probably people. That's what I find interesting. So yeah.
You find people interesting?
I find, shooting.
In this day and age.
You know, there's some interesting characters out there.
By the way, thank you everyone who stopped by and say hello. We have this season, kind of this time of the year, where a lot of people travel into United Kingdom to either for tourism or to visit their families or on business. So thank you everyone for stopping by, you know, checking the shop out. You don't need to come in here just to buy things. You know, you're welcome to stop by and say hello to us. And yes, everyone. And, you know, it's been a pleasure just to put kind of faces to the names, because we know you from the chat. We know you over the phone. You know Danny over the phone as well, probably. But it's always nice to actually have the physical contact with someone, you know.
It's honestly such a pleasure. Not trying to jump ahead, of course, but yeah, when people come in, it's one of the reasons I wanted to work at Grays is just being around photographers is, you know, it's what I like to do, what I like to talk about. So guys, stop by and just have a chat. You don't have to buy anything like Con said. And yeah, always a pleasure.
It's always good when you buy something as well. But
well, it helps. It helps.
But let's go through your comments real quick. So we will start really easy. William Rickford says hi.
Hello.
Kirill says hey, hey, hey. Ian White is asking, what is the cutoff for the competition? So Night Photography Challenge, last day, there's an end of November, whatever it is, 30th or 31st, if it exists. That is the last day. And the plan is, I think, me and you, whatever the first week is of Friday of December, I think it's 4th of December, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So it's the week after Black Friday. We're going to showcase the best work. So send us your best photographs.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes, I've got some already. It's quite really, really nice shots. I'm going to show you later, not in the live stream, but we're going to show you some of the photography that Daniel took, so you can see his range of work as well. And just remind me, if I forget to switch back to the full screen like I did with Steve last time, and just the image was hanging for the last half an hour, and please let me know in the chat, because it happens sometimes. I'm a one-man band, so I have to kind of control too many things, and I can forget real quick. So I actually don't see what's happening on the screen. I'm looking at the chat right now. Juan says hola.
Hola.
So
hola.
that's good. Ian Mooson says, hey, hello, Daniel and everyone watching today. I was fortunate to talk to Daniel in the shop last month. His knowledge and enthusiasm for Grace and Nikon are great asset for the shop.
That's
5 stars.
Very kind, very kind. Thank you very much, sir.
Like you came from sales background, right? So you worked for Harrods.
I did. That was my first job. Yeah, I used to work for Harrods. Did that for a few months. I had to drop out because I was still studying at the time, so it was a bit difficult with the timing. They needed someone to be there, full time, so it was very difficult. But that was a good foundation for sales for sure, as a very first job.
Yes, absolutely. I think, when Gray looked at your CV and said, oh, he worked in Harrods, and I was like, and he knows photography as well. That's lots of kind of tick boxes, So, but very quickly, he went from junior sales to regular sales to sales manager.
Can't believe it. Yeah.
So that's absolutely amazing. So what do you do as a sales manager at Grays of Westminster? Just tell us about your day-to-day life.
Yeah. Well, customer service is always first, of course. Answering any technical queries. When customers want to buy a camera, a new lens, we don't always push what's the most expensive or the latest. We're just trying to find what's best for everyone. Just trying to find suitable items.
Yeah, I think when we look people for salespeople, I think the most important thing is obviously good social skills. That helps. So just knowing that people exist and we can talk to them. We don't need to be shy. But overall, what we look at is we look to offer advice.
That's right.
The idea is not to sell you something, but find the right product for you and find the right camera for you, because everyone is different. And that's when people say, what is better, let's say, Z6 III or Nikon Z8? It really depends on what you want. Maybe Z50 is a better camera for you, or FM3A. So everyone is different. And while we kind of, I can always say, well, Z8 is the best camera Nikon ever made currently, let's say, but it may not necessarily be the best camera for you. And I think that's kind of what helps, that what we try to do is actually not just to sell you things, but actually find the right product.
Exactly.
All right, let's see more of your questions in the chat and just your comments overall. Got Peter Elga says, hey, I got to film Nikon F5 recently and I need a strong hernia belt now.
Oh, man.
It's
beast, isn't it?
It is. And the thing is, the hernia can come to any male person. I don't know if a female, actually, women can get hernia. I don't know.
I don't know.
But all people I know who have hernia are generally men.
Coincidence?
And the funny thing is, you don't need to be obese to get this. I know guys who go to the gym.
Yeah.
But they lift too heavy stuff, and that's how they get it. And it's a painful thing, I can tell you that one. Michael Reese says, had a great chat with Daniel over the phone. He sold me my 24 1.8G recently. Oh, nice. Very professional and accommodating.
Oh, much appreciated. Glad to help.
But it's good that you know that those people exist. That's what I think. Because, it's people, I think a lot of people who watch our channel, they actually don't know that Grace always.
They don't. They know you, Becky, maybe.
That's it. We got David, the drunk wine photographer, who says moshi moshi. So it's very Japanese.
I watched your episode, by the way. Loved it.
That's right. Well,
fellow film photographer.
Next time you're in LA, I know the guy who can introduce you to some dodgy taco places. I can tell you that.
Very nice.
Gary says hello from Florida. Joe Vlog says, yay, loved my F4S. Do you have a original F4, or is it F4S, or is it F4E? Which version?
I have the original, just a standard F4.
What lenses do you use on it?
Well, my go-to for portraiture probably 85 f1.4. 35 to 70 is quite versatile as well.
Is that 2.8 push-pull?
Push-pull.
The macro zoom, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are rare nowadays. Actually, I wanted to bring one. Went downstairs to find either 28 to 105 or 35 to 70 to our second-hand department, and none are there.
They don't tend to hang around very long because they're such good lenses. So yeah, very good. Versatile as well at the wider end. And
yeah, absolutely. How are you getting on with push-pull mechanism?
Well, the downside with that, I guess, is the weather sealing is not the best, and you tend to get a lot of dust sucked in sometimes. So you do have to maintain that lens, but if you keep it, you know, they tend to last a very long time, and it's so sharp as well. So
absolutely. Ian, yeah, definitely. You need to hurry up with a night photography challenge. So what we've got, what day is it today? It's 22nd. So you've got about a week to complete. The good news is, it gets really, really dark in the UK right now.
That's right.
So I think it's like something like 10 past 4 or something today's sunset. So there's plenty of time. Did you double into night photography at all?
I love, so who is it, Todd Heidel, that does a lot of nighttime photography.
Okay, yes.
I haven't shot any of it myself, but I do like looking at nighttime photography for sure.
All right, here you go. So you're a film photographer, just like a little advice for you film photographers.
Okay.
There's a thing with films that is called, for night photography or long exposure, it's called reciprocity failure. Yeah?
That's right.
So which means that you may need to use for night actually longer exposure than your camera shows you. And each film has its chart. You can find this information online. Yeah. But generally, let's say in a lot of cases, if let's say 1 minute, you may want to use 2 minutes. So things like this. So keep that in mind. What I have here for you guys is not a box of toothpaste. This is what Portra 400 looks nowadays.
How do you feel about the nail packaging? Honestly,
I think I need to see a therapist, to be honest with you. Or Kodak needs to see a therapist to talk about this packaging. But I think the old-fashioned packaging that Kodak used to have is a lot nicer. I don't know what. Are they trying to do this? Is it 2024 design in your opinion? What is it?
I really don't get it. Listen, as long as you don't change the recipes, I'm happy. Change the packaging all you want. Keep the film the actual same, but they can do better than that. Let's be real. That's right.
And this is actually an Ilford HP5 packaging. This is a retro packaging that they had between 1950s and 1960s.
That's pretty cool.
Maybe it was called HP4 at the time. I'm not sure. But this is the traditional limited edition packaging that they do. But yeah, I like the film. I don't like the packaging. I can tell you this.
Okay. So it's all about what's inside, isn't it?
Exactly. It's all about photography, really, more than anything else.
Right.
What's your favorite film stock?
I feel so basic saying it, but Portra 400. Come on. Doesn't never get old.
What's this? Give me top 3. What's the second?
Triax. I like the contrast that it gives. I like gold. I know a lot of people don't like gold that much, but it's cheaper than Portra and it renders really nicely as well.
Lots of warmth, yeah.
Yeah. If you're shooting in the right conditions, you just has such a lovely image. So probably
Fair
top
enough.
3.
I mean, I'm a Portra 400 man myself. I think it's such a kind of a trusty, versatile stock. Not cheap nowadays, about £90 in the UK for the 5 rolls. It's a difficult one. I think, because it's got so much latitude, I think that's the good thing about it. The gold probably doesn't have as much latitude, but I agree with you. It's got lots of warmth coming through. So for summer photography, for autumn photography is absolutely amazing. So, and overall Kodak films, I think, are quite good. Have you tried HP? It's always a conversation about HP versus Triax.
Yeah.
Where it's at for you?
I've tried HP5, HP4. Is HP4? Is that the one with the green?
FP4.
FP4, sorry.
FP4, yeah. That's a 125 ISO, yeah.
That's it. I always find that I edit my film photos as well, and I always find that I'm always pushing the contrast slide a bit. So if you're shooting Triax, you already get that anyway. So it's very close, but I probably prefer Triax to be completely honest.
We're going to come back to this in a second. We're going to say thank you to Jay Blue, who says, enjoy Koffee, Con, and Daniel. Thank you very much, Jay Blue. We appreciate it. Thank you very much, Kirill, who says, happy coffee, guys. Just came back from New York City, visited B&H for the first time. The Nikon section was the best. Have you been to the United States?
No, it's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
B&H is probably the first off as well.
My memories of B&H, I haven't been to B&H last time, but my memory of B&H back in 2004 is those little kind of cables on top of the ceiling and the baskets that hooked up to those cables moving around. So that's what I remember. I think I bought a backpack from them, bought my F100 from Adorama. But that was quite an interesting time. You've mentioned that you editing your film photo. Now, the kind of traditional question that comes up in the chats, where people say, well, isn't the film supposed to be you shoot them what you get and then straight this? Why are you editing your photo? So tell me your take on this.
Guys, do whatever you want. Let's be honest. Even back in the day when there wasn't Photoshop, people still editing photos in the darkroom before they printed them.
They use rocks and branches and some
all of that good stuff
in the caves.
So really and truly, just do whatever you want. I don't. That's the thing about digital as well. I found with digital, I was over editing. With film, the editing process and length is a lot shorter. It's just, contrast slide a little bit, raise the shadows here and there, but there is a lot less editing. I don't change the colors all that much, but I do edit it a little bit. Fantastic. Do you edit your film photos?
I do. But the thing about this is generally you trying to get the flat negative. That's as a starting point. And then technically the tones are kind of baked in, the look is baked in, but what you're trying to do is you will do the adjustment to tonal curve and to contrast. Like I don't like too much saturation in my photos, so I reduce saturation a little bit. So, but if you look at especially black and white prints, and I don't know if some of you saw the Magnum just released those prints where they have the famous photograph, and then with a marker there's a comments of the photographer. We say like F11, F8. So so effectively burning and dodging was applied back in the day on the prints.
That's editing.
Exactly. So even if you've done your scan, you will apply your burning and dodging effects of what you would do in Lightroom to a digital file, or you would do it in analog way, so in the darkroom. So so I don't see the problem with that.
Not at all.
Obviously, if you're shooting color and converts to black and white, well, that's maybe not a solution, but if the image works for you, okay. It's it's something that let's say I don't like the idea of, but if it needs to happen, it happens. Let's see if we got more questions for you here. So let's see. It's a lot of praise.
Oh, wow, that's very sweet, guys. Thank you.
That's really nice. David Moscora says digital is about the camera, pixels, function buttons, updates, looking at your screen constantly, etc. Film is about being present. Heard this somewhere.
Couldn't put it better. It is very true.
Absolutely. I mean, you can shoot digitally like this, but
ZF, you can even switch the screen around.
Yes.
Looking at the pictures.
I mean, even Z6 nowadays got feature screen that you can reverse. ZFC, ZF. So technically, you can do this. You can do this. But I agree that I think film photography does put you in a different mindset.
Slows you down for sure.
How long does it normally take you to go through 36 exposure, 35 millimeter film?
I have had what's the new color film? Harman Phoenix.
The Harman, yes.
Yes, I've had it on my F801 for about 8 months now.
It's not the film stock that you want to use all the time, is it?
No. It can take some time. It's really funny because the new Pentax camera, you can do half frames, do 72 shots. That would take me so long to get through.
There's a company called Flick Film. And they're Canadian. They normally do respooling, but what they've started to do, I think they call on this first. They now release the film rolls that has 18 exposures, and 18? They promote it to half-frame crowd. So they basically give, if you want to have a 36 exposure on your half-frame camera, then get this. And it's a little bit cheaper. It's not half the price of the 36 exposure film, but I can see that starting to happen already.
Interesting.
All right, there's a question from Ian White, and he says, as I've just found out, the man that taught me how to use a camera has passed away. Who has helped you in the most in photography?
Who has helped me? I'm a big YouTube guy.
All right.
Honestly,
tell me.
Come on, let me see. Come on.
For me, it was Ken Rockwell, clearly.
Ken
His
Rockwell.
growing family.
He's the man. Oh my gosh, Ken Rockwell. He's the man. Oh man, I never really had a mentor really. A lot of YouTube, a lot of reading.
Yeah, how did you start? What was one of the first books you read on photography? Let's say not the first book, or maybe an article online or something.
Oh, that's a good question. I probably remember the first time I really stopped to look at a picture and really research the photographer. That was a picture of Sally Mann. She's a film photographer as well. She's still around. She shoots large format, a lot of stuff with her family, her kids, her husband. Yeah, that's the first time I really stopped to research medium of photography, probably. I can't remember if it was just a blog or a book. But
did you grow up in digital generation already, or were you kind of on that breaking point where the film cameras were phased out and the new digital cameras came in?
I remember my mom always having a film camera. I can't remember what make it was, but she was the designated photographer of the family, basically. But we did have a lot of compact cameras around as well. So kind of like I'm a 90s kid, so I kind of saw both generations, sort of. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm just looking at the comments, and people say that they ask him, with the new Nikon rangefinder coming out, Nikon ZP, the new Nikon Asia video gives very strong vibes. Would you like to get a digital rangefinder from Nikon?
If they came out with one, I think it's they're contender for digital camera for sure. Yeah. That's the feedback that we got a lot. Rangefinder.
What do you reckon is going to cost?
Oh man,
$5 billion.
Probably, yeah.
A nice house deposit. Yeah.
Yeah, nice mortgage, you know.
Fair enough. All right, let's see more of your questions. So Joe Vlogs, okay, yeah, there's discussion about 9 photography challenge.
Right.
So the image sizes, please, under 10 megabytes. And basically, our highest output online is 1080p. So that's as much as you need to know. We don't need more than, let's say, 2,000-3,000 pixels wide or tall images, because at the end of the day, they're going to be shrunk anyway.
True.
So yeah, and again, they take up space. So don't worry. Just what would you upload to Instagram? You know, I normally I think downsize to about 2.5K, pixel images or something like this. Dave Walker recalls his memories of B&H. 17 years this month since I went to B&H for my first New York visit. Got Nikon DX fisheye lens. I guess it was 10.5 fisheye. Been in New York 9 more times, but not got back there next time. So here you go. I mean, I don't know. I only know 2 places in New York, camera places. Was Adorama and B&H. So, but if there's any other places in New York, definitely let us know. J Blue says if Seth was here, he'd want Con and Daniel to go to Adorama in New York. Well, definitely, if I'm in New York and I'm planning to get there at some point, so my plan is to go and see Seth in Adorama, so and say hello, because last time I saw Adorama, it was a very small place.
Is that right?
I think it's very different now, so that's the thing.
They've grown.
Absolutely.
What flashes from Adorama before?
I got SB28. Yeah, I got my F100 from them. I think it was 28 to 105 Sigma.
Ah, okay. Nice.
3.5 to 4.5. I spent all the money. I spent $599, right? My hard-earned money. I worked in New York. Look, where I'm from, $600 is a lot of money, you know. So I worked for whole summer, made many tapes, and so I saved up on a F100, and then I didn't have enough money to buy a lens. So 28 to 105 Sigma was only $100.
Yeah.
So it was $699 altogether, I think, if I'm not sure. So I go to this and say, oh yeah, $699. So I'm taking a $700, and then they say, oh, it's actually $800, blah blah blah, because there's tax added on top.
Oh, that's right. They do it differently there.
They do it differently there, So that's the thing.
Very confusing.
That's right. I didn't need for a week after that, but it was all worth it. It was all worth it. I shot a bunch of black and white films. I think I ended up with 40, 50 rolls. I shot my first time with a medium format camera as well, which was my Mi 1000S. So that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing time. So
how much was a box of portrait then?
Ooh, what is the cost of pint of milk, isn't it? So I don't know. I don't quite remember now. I think I spent probably a couple $100 at the time. Had it all developed there as well. That was that. By the way, who develops your film?
I go to this lab called Stocking Film. They are very, very good. They have a couple scanners as well that you can choose from. They just got a Naruto. And what's the other famous one?
Yeah, and it's run by me, by the way. So, so it's that's a nice product placement there. So
guys, I can vouch for it. It's very
sales manager right there. Okay, let's.
I'm not on commission.
Let's see more of your questions. So Jeff is asking a quick question. He said Nikon 24-120 f4 versus Tamron 28-75 2.8 lens. So he says G2. So whatever the current Tamron is, what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, what lens camera do you use to film your lens review videos? So you answer the question about the lenses, and I'll tell you what we film with. We film with the Nikon ZFs nowadays because that's what me, Becky have. So we bring two cameras. One we use to test the lens, to review the lens, and one we use for filming. So and generally, depending on the day and how much load we carry, it's either 24-70 f4 lens that we film on, or 24-70 2.8, which I have. So so really depends. If we have too many things to review, then we take the lighter glass. But tell me about 24-120 f4 versus Tamron 28-75.
Well, obviously the range that you get with the 120. It's going to be benefits and drawbacks with every lens. I guess f4 is not the brightest lens, but it is very, very sharp lens, especially if you compare it to the f-mount version. God, it's a whole lot better.
Day and night.
Yeah.
Finally, someone agrees with me,
Gotta be said.
Gotta be said.
You were saying
Tamron 28-75. So obviously there's a Nikon 28-75.
There is.
Based on Tamron design, and then Tamron released a version 2 of the same design, which we also reviewed on our channel.
Nice.
What's your thoughts on that?
Haven't seen that video yet, but I know the Tamron.
We only filmed it about 6 months ago.
Haven't caught up. There's a lot of videos, guys. But I'm sure it's a cracking lens. It's Nikon glass, isn't it? The Tamron.
No, Tamron is based on Tamron design. So Tamron version 2 is technically slightly better than version 1, optically. Overall prices, when especially Nikon is on sale, are about the same. So our conclusion was, if you need the ultimate image quality, then go for Tamron. But what we know that a lot of our customers would buy Nikon any day over slightly better image quality. And to be honest with you, the image difference between the two lenses is tiny. But yes, version 2 is technically better. Will you notice difference or not? That's a different question. It's, as we always say, when the question of filters come up. Do you use filters, by the way?
I do always have an NC filter in my lens. There's just seen too many accidents and you just...
So that's the question. Some people say, I never use filters because I want to get the ultimate image quality. I always use filters because even if there's 1-2% reduction in image quality, well, I don't see the difference. So obviously, if you pixel peep, you will notice the difference. But realistically speaking, for day-to-day use, I don't think that you're sacrificing a lot in terms of image quality. Let's go on... Let's go to more of your questions. So Colin Murphy is in the chat. He says,
"Oh, hello.
Just picked up F801S, pristine condition, hoping to get a few shots with it in London this weekend."
That's a fun little camera.
801, have you used one?
I have one. It's like a small F4, I guess, more portable, so yeah, a lot easier to carry.
Came out around the same time, isn't it? It's very similar design language, isn't it? Joe Vlogs is answering to Jeff's as well, saying 24-120 is very sharp and extremely versatile. Not perfect. Vignettes a bit at 24mm, but correctable in Lightroom, basically. Ian White says, Stack and Film is very good, Lo. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You can order from us.
Black Friday, guys.
So let's see. So BHTV says 19mm perspective control lens. I'm going to buy it soon. Word on the rumor street regarding the Z native and looking good. Well, we haven't heard anything on the Z glass. I think Nikon kind of finished releasing the products this year. So Z50 Mark II launched last week. We had very small allocations, so more coming within coming weeks. There are rumors of firmwares coming out. So there's a ZF firmware came out very recently. There's a rumor that ZF is going to be connected to Nikon Cloud very soon. So hopefully we will see another firmware update. The Z9 firmware has been spotted on some trade show. Like from what I understood, that it's actually the firmware is coming very soon. So that's, just kind of through the back channels, we will see the firmware before the end of the year for sure. But I think it's going to be happening rather sooner than later. Have you seen the 28-135 photographs, the pre-production model on one of the shows in China?
I have. It looks good.
What do you think Nikon gets into video space? What's your thoughts on that?
It's exciting, especially with them acquiring Red. Like I said, I came from first from a video and film background, so it'd be very exciting to get a camera that can do that cinema grade kind of like level of.
Do you think it's going to be expensive though?
For sure, probably. But you get what you pay for sometimes, so pay a little bit more, but you get those extra specs, and yeah.
All right.
How do you see it?
I think it's going to be interesting development, definitely. It's a as we call, a brave new world for Nikon. So we will. It's interesting from what I understood, talking to Bruno. And kind of his thoughts on this is,
comes from a video background, right?
He comes from video background. But I think what Nikon is trying to figure out before releasing the cameras is where do you want to go? Because at the moment we get a lot of hybrid cameras.
Yeah.
So cameras that include it all. So effectively Z8 and Z9 are fantastic video cameras.
Very much so.
However, the marketing message is about them being stills cameras first.
Yes.
And I think because of that, we see them being used a lot more in the video work nowadays, but it seems like Nikon is not marketing that message per se. So the question is there going to be a specific line of cameras from Nikon? So let's say we discussed C200 in lengths. It's a Kodak C200. It's basically one of those cameras that a lot of videographers use for documentary features. Yeah. So so that was kind of a staple for the last 10 years or so, so can be now had very inexpensively, by the way. But I think what Nikon is trying to figure out is, do we need a special line of cameras? And if it's one camera, or is it a series of cameras? Or we're going to continue with the hybrid releases where we release one camera that does it all, but then how do we market it to the people who, want to shoot video, but may not necessarily know that Nikon does videography as well as other brands?
I feel like they should release a special line just so that, because Sony does that. The FX3 is a very popular video camera right now. It can do stills as well, but you see a lot of professionals using them. It would be good for Nikon to. I don't know if it's likely for them to do it because Well,
we'll find out. I think next year is the time, isn't it?
Well, it's coming very, very soon.
Absolutely. Well, what else do you think Nikon will release next year?
I'm hoping for more lenses, for sure.
Okay. As a sales manager of Grazer Westminster, what do you think you're going to sell tons of? What's the popular choice? What's the popular vote?
Popular vote right now. What do people want? Well, Steve, that you met, was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
I've met Steve before, yes.
Yeah,
he's
met
a nice
Steve,
guy.
right?
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
I don't know if he's in the chat today, but shout out to Steve.
I meet him every day, yeah. I introduce myself, yeah.
He's hoping for a new Z9, but I don't know how likely it is for that to happen.
Do you think we'll see global shots in there?
That's the buzzword right now, isn't it? The global shutter. I'm sure the next pro line of camera that Nikon comes out with will have it. They have to, come on.
I think coming from film photography, you probably want to see a film camera.
I would love that.
Okay,
personally,
so
if I could choose.
If Nikon has to release a film camera, what film camera does it have to be? Is it FM4A? Is it
FM4A? F4? Wow.
Re-release? What's your thoughts on this?
Could we see a film camera where you can mount Z lenses? Would that even be possible? Probably not.
So the mount is quite large, right? The mount is quite large.
Yeah.
So you still have to put prism on and things like this. My concern is also focused by wire. So that's the thing. Because obviously there's a couple of things, a lot of people discuss this, but obviously keep in mind that focusing sensors are effectively on the sensor on digital mirrorless cameras. So on the DSLRs or SLRs is actually the focusing mechanism. So the mirror that you have there, it's half transparent. So some light goes up into the optical viewfinder and some light goes down and falls into an AF sensor, which is under there. So, that's what it is. So I guess they will have to design something new because, well, technically they can reuse the 850 AF sensor, right? So, but I think it sounds to me that it may be a little bit more challenging than we think it is.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds very complicated. I don't know, maybe re-release the FM3A again? Stop making those babies.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, let's look into the chat. Hello, Andy Hater. He's joining us today. And Andy, thank you for joining us. Give us the stream like and subscribe. If you haven't done it, as Andy says in his comment as well. John Hughes says, I use my 19mm perspective control lens on my Z8 and Z9 with FTZ adapter, and they work really great. Thank you very much, Randall. He says, enjoy your coffee. I wonder when Nikon will get a film update for Nikon Z6 III for the same subject detection as in Z50, Z8, and Z9. So my understanding that the new firmware features are released in the new products first and then being retrospectively implemented. So that means that it will come. Is the question is when.
It's a matter of time, right?
It's a matter of time. I absolutely agree with you. For some reason, I thought it's more of a kind of a platform thing where you base one base firmware that kind of works on all cameras.
Right.
It doesn't seem to be the case because then we would see releases of all cameras at the same time. So it seems like it's still a custom made firmware for specific cameras. So I think that's the reason why it takes a little bit more time to implement. Seth Miranda is in the chat. Seth, we were talking Ada Rama and me coming and saying hello to you. Maybe with Daniel, who knows?
I would love that.
But definitely, I will let you know if I'm coming to New York and we can do one of you live from Ada Rama's studio in New York.
That'd be very fun.
Sounds like
tuning
Saturday
for that, guys.
Night Live. Anyway, so John Vlog has a question. Daniel, as a budding DOP on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you place yourself on the gloating scale following Nikon's purchase of Red? And how excited are you from 1 to 10?
Man, come on. 10, 11, 1,000. It's really, really exciting.
Yeah.
Have those two merged together.
We're going to finally see Super 8, the Red camera? Yeah?
That'd be awesome.
I'm going to buy Super 8 camera.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. The main stopping thing is it's not the cost of the camera. It's the cost of processing of this Super 8 film.
Yes. Stocking film doesn't do... not yet.
Yeah,
not yet.
They may look into this in the future. So who knows, you know. But hand processed Super 8 film, the meters of it, you know.
What about 16mm?
Oh, that's another level. That's another level. But I am looking into Kodak Vision 3 stocks.
Oh, man.
You know, apparently Kodak, there's a rumor that Kodak is basically cutting down on resale of Cinema Vision 3 stocks to respoolers. And the rumor is, you know why? Because Alaris, Kodak Alaris, which is a UK-based company, which is actually has all the rights to sell this film, not the cinema film, that they are kind of putting up a fuss saying, well, we want to sell this film to the consumer, not the Vision 3. So that's the rumor that's going on now. So if you are a respooler, you may want to buy your bulk rolls now because they may disappear in the future.
So they're saying they want to reserve that for, you know, people that actually shoot motion picture.
Well, no, the thing about this is actually there's enough film for everyone.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, if you're ordering for production, you don't order one roll of 400 feet or 1,000 feet. You order, you know, thousands of those. So technically, it was a problem during the COVID times, obviously. And with the consumer demand, they couldn't make enough film. So since we have now loads of film on the shelves, that's the thing. The question is, does maybe Kodak is going to release a Vision 3 stocks for consumer already basically rolled up in the cassettes. What's interesting as well, in Kodak's last, here's the film news. So in Kodak's last financial results, they say they're shutting down the factory in November, so it's probably shut down now, to upgrade their equipment.
Wow.
So who knows what that's going to be. A, it could be to increase the production of the current film stocks. B, you know, because all this needs to be produced in the dark.
Yeah,
it's literally, there's no light there. So, you know, so that's why they need to shut down everything, upgrade all the equipment. Or they could be effectively releasing Vision 3 stocks into the public, you know, with a remove DCN2 layer, you know, the, I forgot what it's called, but basically all that gravy that goes on top, you know,
black goo.
So, you know, so Remjet, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So, you know, so who knows? But this is the interesting development and we'll see what's going on there.
I have a question for you, though. They basically have a monopoly on color film. Is that a good thing?
Ilford enters the chat with a new Harman stock, which you dislike with passion.
I like it a lot more for 120. I haven't shot it yet, but it looks a lot better for 120.
120 is a little better from personal use. Definitely recommend you 120. It's less grain. So it looks nice. You need to give it more light. You need to shoot at 100, 125 ISO.
Isn't it?
The shadows are quite crushed, so keep in mind. So again, high contrast scenes may not look as well, but it is a nice film stock. Yeah. Well, technically, yes, I know what you mean. We have Orvo, and that they have a 400NC and 500 something. So one is blue kind of color, and one is more yellow. We have Fuji, who they don't make C41 color film. I haven't seen one in a while. So I haven't seen the C200 and Superior Extra 400. So the 200, 400 we have are made in the United States. I guess who is the only company that makes film in the United States, which starts with K and ends with K. But, you know, that's that. Lomo stuff is made by Kodak. Cine Still stuff is made by Kodak.
What's that mean from a Cine Still? Would they be able to, because I'm guessing they buy a bulk roll. And
I don't know. They have some sort of contract. I don't know exactly what's happening, but we know it's there. But Orvo is also a manufacturer, so that's what's interesting. So Harman is getting into place. I think we'll see more. We definitely will see more, but because it's all been effectively thrown out of the window, all the technology, all the recipes, all the film simulations have been, you know, like it's gonna take some time, but you know, but realistically, I'm excited. But Fuji is making E6 still in small quantities, but we are getting Velvia 50, Velvia 100, Provia 100F. You know, till recently we had 400H and 120. So it's there. It's just I don't think it's on the level. But if we continue to buy film, I think we'll definitely do better.
Sounds about right. It's definitely exciting time to be a film photographer.
I'm sure we've lost half of the viewers here who definitely hate to use film, but let's have a look at more of your questions.
Sorry, guys.
We just love film. That's the thing. Speaking of which, like I've just realized that I've shot most of the color film that is available now. I've covered all this. But I have so many black and white film stocks that I haven't shot yet.
There you go.
Like SFX 200 they offered, like Pan F, all this crazy stuff, former Ortho and stuff like this. You know, what's that Italian company that makes film nowadays? Haven't shot their films yet. Ferrania. So you know, still have to shoot those. So there's a lot of films actually that we haven't tried yet. All right, so Paul Hallam says recently purchased a Nikon F3 from Grace. It's currently loaded with Ilford HP5, just a beautiful camera and just a beautiful film stock. A lot of people say that HP5 is not as contrasty than 400 tracks. However, that's the beauty of it. Because you get slightly flatter image, you can get as much as contrast as you want. If you're printing darkroom, you can use a higher grade on printing to get higher contrast. Or if you're scanning, there's a lot of latitude there. But I think in UK, HP5 is definitely cheaper than Tri-X. I think in the United States, probably the opposite thing. But if you're in UK, I think, Tri-X is... HP5 is definitely way to go. Let's see more of your questions. So Phil Cornelius says, joining late from South Padre Island, Texas, where I watched and photographed the 6th launch of SpaceX Starship.
Wow, that is awesome.
Are you in the space race?
Am I in the space race? No, Elon is.
All right. Okay, let's see. Seth Moran says, Nikon needs drop shadows on the AF points. What do you think about AF points?
Shadows on the AF points. What do you think about AF points?
I think autofocus is good enough nowadays, personally. I think it's as long as you're on Gen 3 camera, you should be absolutely fine. Yeah. I'm really interested to see what is the next breakthrough, really. That's the thing.
What are they going to do, right?
I mean, it's good. It's going to get better, but will you see a massive difference from Gen 3, let's say going from Gen 3 to Gen 4? Yeah. That is the question, and I definitely want to see that. Obviously, there's a lot of improvements in video work. I personally think we can fit more dynamic range into the images. Speaking of dynamic ranges, you know, when people say like, I want more dynamic range, you know, in the images, and people say it's good enough. It's good enough, but if you start to see where do we want to go next,
improve those
that's the thing, you know. So that's more I'm coming from. If you have to pick and choose which technology you want to advance, you know, because it can't be, you know, it can't be stale, really. They have to improve somewhere. Yeah. So that's where, let's say, I'm hoping that they're going to go to. I want to see my 18, you know, stops. It doesn't mean that, you know, even 12 stops ago, or current cameras are 14, 15 stops of dynamic range are bad. No, they're absolutely fantastic. I mean, we used to shoot with the D70s and D80s, and they were good enough. My D200 did really well in the studio, you know, so that's the thing. But it's just when you start to think where the next technology comes in, that's my peak. But some prefer a global shutter.
Or AI. That's another buzzword right now, isn't it?
Yeah, what do you want AI in your camera? How much AI do you want?
Well, depends what you mean by AI.
Well, you started
exactly.
What do you mean by AI?
So just making it more intelligent, I guess. For like, an example that Steve gave maybe last week, I think. If you're like a sports photographer and you're shooting football, for example, you have two teams. You can tell the camera to focus in one team. Maybe like,
focus on Ronaldo's face.
Yeah. Eddie catches face.
Eddie catches face.
Is it injured?
Speaking of which, you Arsenal fan, yeah?
Big time.
So do you think they're going to finally make it this year and win the title?
Oh, guys, I don't know. It's not looking good right now.
It was a rhetorical question. It didn't require an answer.
No.
But it's fine. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
But let's see. So, Seth, good to see you. We'll see you next time. Jim Orsetti has a question. Contemplating about buying a 5. Are they pretty reliable with its electronics?
I haven't seen a broken F5 ever.
Me neither. To be honest with you. So, I think one of the things that I saw was the winding mechanism. I think that was it. But, overall... it's never been an issue. The point of film cameras with electronics, it's a very interesting point because when you go on the forums and people say, well, I'm not going to buy a film camera because it's eventually going to fail on me, but let's be honest. Yes, the chance of electronic camera failing on you is there.
It can happen.
Yeah, and it can happen the next day. But it can also happen in 50 years down the road.
That's right.
That's the thing. So overall, I don't know what to say. I would say if you have a camera now, enjoy a camera. Yes, if you're spending £2,000-3,000 on a film camera, has electronics. Yes, that's a kind of a point. Exactly. But if you buy a camera for 50 quid, and it may fail, you can buy another camera for 50 quid.
That's right. That's why I'm a big fan of mechanical cameras as well. I guess you can just replace parts, but electronics is a little bit more complicated. And the thing with film cameras, if you buy a film camera, try to maintain it, take it to get checked and things like that, because you can increase the longevity. So yeah, I feel like people don't really tend to do that at all. Lenses or cameras, they just buy in and never try to get it fixed or maintained.
Yeah,
it's a big thing.
I mean, I would. But the thing about this is, ideally, we want to service our cameras, our film cameras. Hopefully, well. Yearly basis, probably it's a wishful thinking, but a lot of people just buy cameras and never basically service them till they eventually
until they break.
Exactly, but
and it's too late, isn't it?
That's the thing. So I think there should be some sort of point of servicing your cameras. Maybe not every year, but maybe mechanical cameras. Maybe like watches every 5 years or so. Mechanical watches. So
it can be hard as well because sometimes you only have one body. Makes it a little bit more difficult, of course, but. Try to get him in service.
Absolutely.
For sure.
If you got a local camera guy who fixes the cameras, support him with your business.
Local business.
Absolutely. And for a very simple reason, this type of craft of fixing, film cameras, it's dying, unfortunately, because it's a lot of, unfortunately, older chaps who know how to do this, and there are not many young people who want to learn this. So it's definitely improving. I know that what's a camera store in Finland, the company, they have obviously a big department where they do this, and they have the programs. So I think it's like 8 months or 9 months program where you can go and they'll teach you how to do this. So I'm glad this is happening, but I wish it would happen a lot more. So definitely it's something, if you have your local cameraman, definitely give him work, because unfortunately, if the business closes, then who knows, maybe next time you'll pay double or triple what it would cost you. All right, let's look at more of your comments. Jeff is asking, Con Daniel, any camera related purchase this Black Friday sale, what would you buy? What's the best deal at the moment?
The Z8 is a great deal, guys.
570 quid off the current price.
Z6 III is on sale as well. The ZF is a good price if you want to snatch one.
Z52 just launched.
Z52, it's you can get that with 2 lenses for 1,200, I think. It's a no-brainer. It's such a good camera.
Absolutely. I know that we kind of adding new deals on daily basis.
Always check.
So there's going to be definitely going to be more new deals added. However, the Nikon stuff is priced in. So if you wanted to purchase your Nikon stuff on Black Friday deal, this is the Black Friday day, offer. There's not going to be any additional amount. Well, at least this is what I'm telling now without knowing anything. We were told this is the deal. That's it. There's nothing else coming. As a shop, we'll add new things on accessories and other things. So
we can to help.
Yeah, I think we start in Sigma sale within the next couple of days. Voigtlander will have a small discount. Tamron will have a small discount. So if you're thinking of buying those, there's definitely going to be a deal there.
Do trade-ins as well. Part exchange is a big thing.
Exactly. I mean, we do enhanced part exchange at the moment. So if you buy something from us, you get additional 10% on top of the value of what we would offer you for your equipment. So that goes towards the purchase of the new equipment. That's all this. The main deals, though, the deals over the Black Friday, me and Steve next week are going to discuss. So we're going to talk about what I would buy for myself on Black Friday, what Steve would buy, and then you share with us the best deals on Black Friday. So that's happening next Friday. So tune in. Hopefully we can find some good deals in there. I'm thinking I might just top up on the yearly Adobe photography subscriptions because I think they're like £10 a month right now, $9.99. But I think on sale you can get them for about 60 quid or 70 quid a year.
Oh, I didn't know
and that's what I like to do, So I've,
Yeah, Adobe that money has been coming out of my account for so many years now. I don't even see it, but
exactly, stick it to the man. We don't like subscriptions, so let's pay less. So definitely prepare your best deals for next live stream for sure. Let's see if you have more questions here. We're gonna wrap up soon. It's been an hour, by the way.
No way.
You see, and you thought that is gonna,
It was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, he was a bit shy at the beginning, so I can tell you.
A little bit. Time flies when you're having fun, eh?
Exactly. So let's look at more of your comments. So Andy said, I remember the bricks of Triax. So coming back to Triax comment, he also says used to use Agfa color slide film, and they had a lab in the US close to my home. Agfa just launched Agfa 400 color film. The rumor is based on Orvo, which is also made in Germany. So, but they just launched a new product. So that's quite interesting. I really hope that Agfa is going to come back. They obviously do the black and white films. So that's are manufactured in Germany. So they're not manufactured by Ilford in UK. So that's that. Who knows? And Andy says, I never tried Ilford black and white film. Well, you've got the whole world of Ilford films open for you. Ilford films are great. If you haven't tried it, definitely try HP5 is a good way to start with. FP4 I like FP4, especially on medium format and large format. It's got very strong blacks, very strong mid-tones. It's quite contrasty, but not too contrasty on the highlight side of things.
Okay.
But there's also, if you're more of a modern like T-Max style films, there's Delta 100, 400 films. So the choices are there. You got SFX 200, which is infrared, Pan-F 50 ISO film, Ortho 800.
Do you have a favorite? No for the lineup?
Well, I kind of, like street photography HP5, so it's just given. But I do like FP4. I do like FP4 on medium format. I definitely enjoy this. Delta 400 is surprisingly good on 4x5. So, that's the thing. I really like those films. I think the problem is with UK is the Kodak is expensive. So that's the thing. And Ilford can compete with Kodak on many levels. Let's see more of your questions here. Michael Reed says, how much longer will Nikon support F-mount cameras and lenses as they still selling them? Well, I know the answer. They committed up to 2025, which is, is next year.
That came quick.
I remember we discussed it on Nikon Report podcast about 3 years ago, and we thought, well, we got time.
Man, no, time flies.
Was
it earlier this year where there was a rumor that the F-mount lenses were being...
Well, they definitely phasing them out. We can still order some, but not as many as we wanted to. But 2025 where it's at, I think next year we'll know more if they'll continue. Technically, my thinking is maybe they'll stop selling cameras in 2025 and lenses. So let's say D850 being discontinued.
End of an era.
But then they'll still have to support it. So my personally think is 2030 vision, really, but who knows? I guess we'll find out. All right. Let's see. No AI in camera is fine with me. I agree. David Mascora says throw a yellow or orange filter on with HP5 and it's fine. Absolutely agree. You want more contrast? Yellow, orange, red. So 1 stop, 1.5, 2 stops. Just keep in mind that. So, but definitely red filter is a bit overkill, I would say. I like orange because it's kind of sits between yellow, which is not strong enough, and red, which is strong. But yeah, definitely.
Filters,
if you're into black and white photography, I'll do that. Before we go, we actually need to show some of your work, right?
Oh, God.
So let's show some of the pictures because we were talking to Daniel and we didn't even tell you what kind of pictures he's taken. So let's see if I can remember how to do this. There should be a steel button here. Let's see. We got steel. Boom. That should be there, right? So let's see. Fingers crossed. If we don't see the pictures, we'll find out. But in the meantime, I'm going to look at more of your comments. David the Drunk Wedding Photographer says, purchased my Nikon F5. Purchased my Nikon F5 in 2005, still going strong. Only the rubber grip is falling off. I need to find replacement rubber grip. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I would recommend you have a look on eBay because I doubt that those are still available online. So this is your type of photography. I assume that's a travel, yeah?
Yeah, so that's very, very recent.
Where did you go?
That was in the south of France. That's in Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
What film did you use?
I can't remember for... Just in the roll of Portugal with gold. I did edit it a little bit, so I can't tell right now. But one of the two. That's in the south. That's actually Spain, Costa Brava.
Okay.
I have so many pictures of cats. It's unreal, guys.
I just love cats.
I'm a dog person, but I love cats as well, for sure.
He's an internet person, so that's... Joe Lux says, I just can't afford film processing. I need the money that places it. You learn how to process your black and white film. As simple as that. That can be very inexpensively. Pots and tank, all you need, couple of chemicals, you're good for like 20 rolls. So, you can make it reasonably inexpensive.
There's new products as well, like is the AGO?
Argo, yeah, that's that one. Those are, you pay 400 quid, but if you think that Jobo film process costs 3,000, upward 3,000 pounds, this is cheap, but also what you pay in processing for the labs is the time, is the personal time, because a lot of those films, if you don't have deep and dark machines, they're hand processed. You need to pay people salaries. Yeah. It's very simple as it gets. So, you're not actually paying for the cost of chemicals, but you're paying for someone to stay there and they're on hourly wage and hand develop your film. So keep that in mind. So that's some black and white shot. What film did you use in here?
Got me again.
It was one of those black and white films. Probably made by Kodak or Ilford.
It's probably Ilford.
Probably was around 200, 400 ISO, and it's probably 5 so
somewhere in between.
All right. So, question of random: FM3A for portability or Nikon D6? That's a very random question, but what will you go for?
FM3A or D6? Let me think. FM3A any day. Any day.
Would you like a microwave or fridge? That's okay. Let's see more of your questions. So there's while your shots are rolling, we're gonna be wrapping up. But David Lewis says, when traveling, I take Ilford XP2 cause more C41 labs than black and white labs, and at least faster. Yeah, because XP2 can be processed. Well, it can be processed in black and white cams as well, if you want to. But it's great that you can shove it into the C41 machine, which does all the work. So actually, lab. Basically, there's no one hand develops those films for you. So, so that definitely, you want to start with black and white film. XP2 is a good starting point. Kodak used to make one as well. I think it was called 400 BCN, if I'm not mistaken. That was back in the day. There was another company called Konica used to make film.
Konica.
So, they were good times.
Did they make cameras as well? That ain't so familiar.
The Konica, they definitely used to do that. So you got more people jumping off the cliff into the water. I'm sure that was fun to shoot.
That was very fun. These kids were having a blast. They actually called me over to come and take the pictures. And funny because I walked away. I was like, I'll send you the pictures. Completely forgot to get the details. So if they're watching, there you go, guys.
Here we go. Okay, so
that's in Croatia, I think.
Okay, so you've done a bit of a Euro trip.
I did a little bit, quite a bit of traveling this summer, which is very, very nice. That's one of my favorite shots, actually.
Yeah, well, tell us, talk us through the shots or composition.
Right. I guess rule of three is in there.
Yeah.
The framing's nice. It's intriguing, like the action the little boy jumping in the back, and I don't know, I just like the shot.
Fantastic. Well, that was good. So let's see. Now we're going to go more towards your portrait photography. So I know you do, you like to photograph people. So I know you were trying to get into fashion as well at some point. That's right. Why do you like to take portraits of people?
I just find people faces interesting. I always tend to gravitate towards it. It kind of speaks to me. It's kind of photography I like to learn about, to look at, and like to shoot, basically. Pretty much. So that's very early. Actually, I think this is shot on digital, actually, funny enough.
Oh, no, I'm glad. No.
And even worse, was shot on a Canon.
On a Canon?
I had a 5D Mark III, which I loved.
It's a nice print, isn't it? What kind of cartridges does it take?
Canon.
I mean, 5D has a good, good following. I mean, I had 5D Mark II at the time.
Yeah.
I compared it to D700. I can tell you that if I would be Canon shooter, I would definitely stick to 5D, but D700 for me was definitely, I prefer it more. Camera. And it was the first time I chose a smaller resolution camera.
Is that right?
Because I think 5D Mark II was about 20 or 21 megapixel, and D700 was 12 megapixels at the time. So that's that. Let's go to less portrait and more sunset photography. This shot can be qualified as a night photography, just so you know. So you can send us some of those, but not too many sunsets, because we won't have variety in our shots. But definitely, let's get this. It will get there at some point. So don't worry, it's a delay, but it will be there. Yeah, and in the meantime, I'm just going to read some comments. Alexander Lowry says, I had an F5, great camera, built like a tank. Right. Rodri Williams says, nearly 40-year-old, F301, still going strong with no issues. Drunk Wedding Photographer says, Mine Lab in LA charging me $30 per roll. That is incredibly expensive, I can tell you that. Labs in UK, you charge anything between, I think, £5 for processing only, and it goes up to £20, including very high res scans. So, and everything between for low res scans and no TIFFs and things like this. So, I guess it's a LA tax. I'm not sure. Maybe California tax. Who knows? It is definitely cheaper in the UK. They're cheaper labs, guys. They're definitely cheaper labs. So find out. Maybe in one of those. There's more portrait work, so we're going to show one of those.
That's a cool one.
Tell me, guide me through that.
That was my first fashion editorial, first time getting published, which was quite exciting. Had help from a friend with all the styling, and it was a very quick shoot. I think we shot 5 outfits in like an hour and a half.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was blazing fast.
So that's digital, yeah? Or is that film?
That's film. That was with my F4. At the time, I was trying a Canon EOS 3 as well, because I still had some Canon lenses lying around. So it was a mixture. Probably portrait.
I can see it's Solstice Mag. I've been publishing Solstice.
You said,
Solstice. Yeah, that's cool. In my good old days as well, so, But that's good. So you actually had a group of people, stylists and everything. So like you've done it like grown-ups do.
I had a stylist help me with the styling, which wasn't actually there in the day. So it was literally me with the model. I had a friend help me with the, holding the reflectors and things like that. Very low budget, but it was rewarding. Like, it worked out, got published. Very happy with the images. So
fantastic. I like the colors on the especially the color one. I think it's quite interesting.
Thank you.
And then there's another portrait as well. So that one is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that was a test shoot. This modeling agency that contacted me back in the day, basically. That was shot in Bank, I think. Again, very quick, couple of outfits. The lighting was really nice coming from the side. You got the almost Rembrandt, I guess. Again, film, Portra 400, f4. That was the 85 f1.4, by the way. So
85-1.4 is one of the best portrait lenses. That's the thing. That's the thing. A lot of people say, I like my 1.8 lens. Yeah. And I always say, try 1.4. It's different. It definitely hits differently. But now there's a carnival shot.
All right.
So tell us all about this. So was it in Rio de Janeiro? Was it in Notting Hill?
Notting Hill. I'm sure
it's a local Rio de Janeiro. It's London's Rio de Janeiro. But
that was a fun shoot as well. I have a friend that she basically makes carnival costumes. I had had very little experience shooting in studio. But yeah, I was really happy with the results. Simple free light setup.
And it was for some local magazine, or?
No, so that was for her website, but it got published in the Carnival sort of magazine kind of thing. And yeah.
All right.
So it was using the website and for the editorial as well.
All right, and then we got another portrait, and I think this one, I really love that one. I think it's definitely got a nice vibes to it. Where was this one taken?
That was in Rio. I flew there to help out with an editorial, and then after the shoot, the customer had a few minutes left on the clock, so snapped some pictures. Again, that was the 85 f1.4. It's quite unusual for Rio because it's quite cloudy. It's not what you think of Rio de Janeiro.
You want to get cloudy though for the lights, and you that's the thing.
Simpler.
As a normal photographers, we don't like we don't like cloudy days, but actually as a portrait photographer, like, it's
a huge softbox.
It's a huge softbox because otherwise, if you notice that when they shoot film on sunny day, they have those big kind of screens covering the light because they want to get the flatter light because otherwise the light is too harsh.
That's right.
So overall, kind of I've learned to appreciate this, and England is a perfect place for this. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoy having Daniel in here. Definitely let me know in the comments under this video. So we'll have Daniel back in 2 weeks' time. He's going to do a photography challenge with me where we're going to showcase the best of your night photography challenge in here. Wait. So that's happening in 2 weeks. Send me your photos before the end of the month.
Where can they send them again?
media@gracewestminster.co.uk or info@gracewestminster.co.uk. Subject photography challenge under 10 megabytes for YouTube. Yeah, so we don't need a very high resolution. I don't need your raw files, okay? So
please, no.
That's the thing. But definitely send me my way. So we're going to have this. We're going to have Steve Lam back for Black Friday event live stream we're going to have next week. So that's that. In the meantime, please go get some cameras, get out, take some photographs, share with all of us, and we will see you next week, the usual time.